What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here with more Madden 18 talk. Now, I wanted to make a new video. I was thinking, all of the news we have gotten from Madden 18 and all of the things, the interviews, the things we've seen, the blogs, it really got me optimistic that Madden 18 could possibly be the best Madden ever. Now, for this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 reasons as to why I think Madden 18 could potentially be the best Madden ever made. This video is made, being optimistic. So this isn't me guaranteeing that this is going to be the best Madden ever. This, you have to be optimistic every year. It is the only football game on the market. EA has done a lot of great things this year. So, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt just based off what we've heard so far. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The top 5 reasons I think Madden 18 might be the best we've ever seen. Number 1 is the addition of MUT Squads. Now, in any game that has online or has any type of head-to-head competitiveness, when you add a team play element to it, it just takes it up another level, Think of Call of Duty if you just could play one-on-one. It would still be a fun game, but the fact that you could team up with people, you run with a squad versus somebody else's squad, that's what takes it to the next level. It's so much more fun, being able to communicate with your friends through the headset, working together to beat the other team. That's what MUT Squads is bringing to the table. It's the same thing in FIFA. I'm not a big FIFA player, but all of my friends that play FIFA, they pretty much exclusively play the team play. I forget what the actual mode on there is called. I guess it's called like clubs or something like that, where, they play as a team. That's what most of the people I know that play FIFA do. Same with NBA 2K. A lot of people play My Player and things of that nature, but a lot of people play the team up, the Pro AM leagues or whatever they're called. When you have a team play element, it just adds such another dynamic of fun to the game that you can't recreate any other way. So MUT Squads, you're going to be able to team up and play 3-on-3, you and your 2 friends versus 3 other guys. One person controls the quarterback, one person can control the running back, the wide receiver, so on and so forth. I think that's just going to take this game to another level. Team play is amazing. Glad EA has added it in. Number 2 is the addition of game styles. Now, we've talked about this in depth quite a few times, but, to sum it up quickly, we have the sim mode, the competitive mode, and the arcade mode. This is great because for once, Madden finally has a mode for everybody. They have the guys that just want to pick up and play that aren't maybe that skilled. They just want to throw up the ball, make aggressive catches, make big hits, just have fun. Something that's not very skilled, you can play arcade mode. For the hardcore sim guys, they can play the sim mode. They can play in franchise mode, or they can play, I'm pretty sure you can play unranked online head-to-head in sim mode if you want to as well. Where it's a little bit more realistic. And then you have competitive mode where the hardcore tournament players, they control their outcome. It's more based on user skill rather than the randomness that the game can throw at you at times. So having these different modes means we can finally give each Madden player their type of game style. And I think that's great. Some people don't like that, but I think that's great. I think everybody wins with game styles. Number 3, legacy issues have finally been fixed. Now, you have to address legacy issues every year. Basically, these are just outdated things that need to be updated. Certain ways that the game plays. You try to update as many as you can every year, but a lot of times they get put on the back burner because you have to spend so much time, programming the new features and stuff like that, working with a new engine this year. So legacy issues a lot of times get put on the back burner. This is the first year in many years where they address tons of legacy issues. Rex made it his goal to knock out as many of these as he can, and he still has more that he wants to knock out going forward. But for this year, just things like warp tackles, dropped rack catches, blocking not working the way it should, pass defenses being able to stop run formations, just all those little things that just made the game buggy, purple zones not defending corner routes, or, being able to run a post route versus defenses that should be able to defend a post route. All those little things that just, for whatever reason, just kind of made the gameplay a little bit worse. So many of them have been fixed this year. So we should have, barring some crazy glitch coming out of nowhere, we should have the best gameplay Madden that we've seen in maybe a decade at least, because they've addressed so many of these legacy issues. So that's huge for everybody. People that play sim, people that play competitive, all these little bugs, for the most part, have been addressed. Number 4, the Frostbite Engine. anytime you switch to a new engine, you're looking at, a huge upgrade. We've had, quite a few engines over the last decade, but the Frostbite engine, for those of you that play FIFA know how epic the Frostbite engine is, how good it is for the lighting, how much smoother the game plays. Anytime you're upgrading an engine in a sports game, it makes the game that much more realistic. It makes it look that much better. And in terms of a football game, looks and feel, or that's the main thing. You want it to be as fluid and feel like as much like real life as you can. You want it to look as much like real life as you can. The Frostbite engine is the best engine to date, so that is just another notch on the belt for Madden 18 of why it'll be superior than the games that came before it. And last but not least, attention to detail. Something EA really focused on this year. And I don't mean attention to detail in terms of just like graphic wise. I mean in how the real NFL game is played. This year more than ever, weight and momentum is factored into the game. And don't get me wrong, it's always been factored in, but not quite like this year. These things, people throw out the word physics. They want real physics. It's so hard to have real life physics in a game. It's so far beyond, the average person's comprehension, how hard it is just to program these things in the game, but EA does as best a job as they can every year. This year, weight and momentum matters so much more in the run game and the blocking game. How determining how your guy gets off the block, which is block shedding, determining how your offensive line is going to hold off a blocker, determining how your quarterback's going to deliver a pass with his, if his feet aren't set, you're going to notice a difference. If his accuracy ratings are lower, you're going to feel that difference. They've just paid such a small attention to detail. Slower players now have the ability to catch faster players if their angles are correct. If you're running at the correct angle, you can cut off a faster player. In years past, it was very hard to do that. There's so many little things that when you're talking about a sports game, especially football, those little attention to details, those little physics things, the weight, the momentum, those little things make such a huge difference in how the game plays and how it feels. So that is huge. They have not really focused on those little details in the past as much as they have this year. They've made it a key to make this game as realistic as humanly possible. So those are my 5 reasons why I think Madden 18 could potentially be the best we've seen to date. Of course, we won't know until we get our hands on it and we play it, but let's remain optimistic. It is the only football game for us that do love Madden. I think it's better to go into it being optimistic than, just to think it's going to be garbage. I think it's going to be a great game, and I do anticipate it being, if not the best, one of the best that we've ever seen. So let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for Madden? Do you think it's going to be one of the best ever? Do you think it's going to be bad? Do you think NFL 2K needs to get the license back? I see that a lot in the comments. It's not happening, guys. But, if you feel that way, still comment below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.